Hey guys, and welcome back to another iContrast video. Today we'll be covering round 2 of ASR Online Championship Tier 1 around China. Hopefully it's a good race. I can't wait to jump into it. The game has been recently updated with a new patch which has fixed a lot of things online, so hopefully it's improved the game significantly, along with the new spectator cam and new liveries. Unfortunately we won't be able to try out the spectator cam as I'm participating in this championship, which is also a good thing though, as I'm definitely looking to earn some more points to make up for last race. If you haven't seen it already, go check out race 1, it was pretty good. I had to cut my way through the field. Hopefully this time though, I can earn some decent points and get away into some clean air and not get involved in any incidents. It'll be interesting to see where I qualify. This is my qualifying lap that I'm on right now, and it'll be interesting as I started on pole last race if you haven't seen it already, and I never actually got to see my pace in comparison to the rest of the field. So here we go, coming down the back straight now. We're going to open up the DRS as soon as we can. Already in 8th gear, so not much we can do in terms of gear control, but you got to make sure you upshift at the right time to maximize your speed down this straight, because this is the best opportunity to overtake with the DRS and the slipstream. So you got to make sure you maximize your opportunities coming into that hairpin. And here we go, across the final corner, open up the DRS to finish the lap, and that puts us in 5th place provisionally. Like I said, at Australia, I definitely feel as though I'm a top 5 contender and I can race at a top 5 level, but as the session finishes we actually get bumped down to 7th position, which is not what I was looking for. If you're that far down the order, near 10th place, I'd rather start in 11th, get a fresh set of tyres, but unfortunately that hasn't happened for us. A very competitive field this year, as if I qualified a 10th faster I would have got 5th, 4th place, maybe ahead of James H, so that's just how close it is compared to the other guys. Right then, here we are finishing the formation lap, getting ready to start the race. I definitely need to improve my points position in the championship if I want to have any effect on the front runners by the likes of James H and Maznat. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of fast drivers ahead of us, such as Stylen and Waffles and bits, but I reckon if I get the opportunity, I can definitely overtake them. And we're just waiting on the grid now for everybody to form up, and hopefully we can get a clean start to the race. That's all I'm asking for. It's going to be really busy in the turn 1. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. And it's been an okay start. We're almost side by side with Waffles and Bits, and there's been a huge lag spike and we've been knocked off the track. I don't honestly know what's happened there. With this new update, there's been a lot of lag at the start of races lately, and here we go, just more lag. I don't know where the cars actually are because they're getting teleported forwards and backwards, so I'm just trying to avoid everyone. And luckily we don't even get front wing damage. I don't even know how, but I think it's settled down a little bit now, and hopefully we can get back to racing. We have lost about 7 positions due to no fault of my own, so I've got to make up all those positions again, plus more if I want to make any decent points for this round. But behind sprints now, I'll be on the faster tyre than a lot of these guys ahead who started on the softs and the medium tyres, which are the harder compounds. They don't provide as much speed or grip through the corners, so hopefully I can make up these positions pretty quickly. More than halfway through the first lap now, as we have plenty of fuel to burn this time as we're going up the inside of sprints. This caught me off guard as he was so far ahead of us, but I managed to make the lunge into that left-hander, and we're going to be looking to make the inside move on the Harry Tomato. He's hit us off and he's went off his own racing line, so that's, well, it's really frustrating if anything, but you know, what can I do? Now it's definitely going to be impossible to try and make up all those positions, I'm sure. I don't even know if I can even make this a one stop anymore because my tyres would be absolutely stuffed because of that incident. But, you know, could be worse. We could have front wing damage. We are still effectively on the lead lap, so we've got a huge gap to the car in effectively last place. That's not my teammate that's gone in the pits, who's filled in for Prying Stingray this race because Prying Stingray was unable to attend this race meeting. Here we have onboard shots with Maznat, who didn't have a laggy start and had a much cleaner getaway than us, as James H tries to make the move around the outside, but Maznat holds the inside line and Wimpinator manages to get an also clean start. A bit of contact there between the front wing of Maznat and Wimpinator's rear end, But Win Pineda definitely looking strong to take the race win, as he was fastest in Australia also, but unfortunately he spun out on the first lap, going through a left-hander and got on the exit curb, so that was really unfortunate for him. Maznat's run a bit wide and gave a look to James H, but he's sealed off that, and I don't think there's many ways James H can get past, as China is a very difficult circuit to overtake, as that's a car. Dynamite is off the racing line there. I'm not sure, he must have made contact with this squabble of groups of cars ahead of us, but we'll be definitely looking to profit off these gaggle of cars squabbling ahead of us. Flowriser is the next in line, and we're going to be looking up the inside. I'm not going to try and make the same mistake and go close to the car on their exit, as they may adjust their racing line apparently and just knock us off the road. But now we got a bit of slipstream from Flowriser heading into the hairpin, and we're going to make this a pretty trivial move up into the inside, and not much Flowriser can do about that on the slower tyre. So getting a nice exit, and that moves us up into P16 behind hold up man Dan now, as we're going to be looking to dispatch of him as quick as possible, because he is on a 2 compound slower tyre than us. And we'll be having a look at the inside here, taking a nice wide line on the entrance, and then we can get a nice tight racing line going all around the right hander, and then that turns to the outside for the left hander, but we're going to try and hold it around the outside, and we're still going side by side under the Pirelli sign and heading into the right hander hairpin, where we finally make that move stick, and hold up man Dan has to yield that position. Not much you can do on the less grippy tyres, but now we'll be looking to attack Sprint, who we were trying to overtake on the first lap, but got knocked out of the way straight after I overtook him going through that long right hander. But we'll be looking to overtake him once again, going into the exact same corner I was behind him on lap 1, and hopefully we can make the exact same move. And he leaves us the room, he locks up a little bit, runs wide, he holds the inside line though. We're going to try and go around the outside into this long right hander, which we had the incident on lap 1, but we managed to hold that position. It's going to be me overtaking a lot of cars to try and get up into the points now, as we're carving our way through the field, already overtaking 2 cars in the space of 2 sectors, as we have Maznat in the battle for 2nd and 3rd place, as James H is getting a nice slipstream heading down onto the hairpin, which is probably the best place to overtake someone if you're going to attempt it, as Maznat tries to defend and squeezes James H there, goes for the switchback, and he manages to hold it up the inside, as James H has now got the inside line for the final turn in the circuit in China, as Maznat gets a little bit squirrely coming out of that final corner, getting side by side with James H. He's got a better exit, even though he got onto that exit curb, looking to make the move around the outside of James H, but he runs wide, and that's just left a big invitation for James H to dive up his inside and take that 2nd position. So unfortunate for Maznat, but the championship leader is yet to make a serious mistake, and he's doing everything right once again, as he did in Australia, to try and take this 2nd championship, as he managed to win last season. But here we are, lap 8, our tyres are absolutely roasted. I thought I may as well go for the undercut, as I was catching up to the back of Sir LJB, who managed to get some front wing damage due to my lag car. Not much I could have done about that, but stopping nice and early for this pit lane, and I don't want to get a penalty, so I take it nice and easy, because I don't want my already worst race turning into an even more abysmal situation, as we get our medium tyres put onto the car. Nice clean stop, don't get held up by anyone. I wouldn't imagine we would, being this far back, but luckily we got some clean air now. Hopefully, we got Dynamite actually in front of us, but he's on the faster tyre. I believe that he was going to make another stop, but unfortunately that was not the case, as he managed to make them soft tyres last until the end of the race. A good drive from Dynamite, and we actually let him go because of that, and we didn't want to stay behind him because the dirty air was so bad in this game, especially around the long swooping corners, because the dirty air just made you slide out so far with the understeer, and we just decided to tuck in behind Dynamite and let him go chase up the road and overtake the cars ahead. Lap 16 now, and I could have swore I overtook these guys earlier on in the race, but it looks like they've gotten the undercut on us once again, so looking to make my 3rd overtake of hold up man down. I think it might have been only second overtake, but either way, we're going to overtake him once again, going into the final corner of lap 16, heading on to lap 17, going down the pit straight, getting a nice toe from hold up man Dan, putting it up into reach just before putting it into standard, heading into the corners of this circuit and making the move up the inside of hold up man Dan once again in the exact same spot we did last time. Now coming up to the back of Denny Rick, I thought this was going to be pretty standard overtake, you know, not too hard, just make the move up the inside of some corner somewhere, but that definitely was not the case, as this guy turns out to be the Great Wall of China, keeping the contrast out because I cannot overtake this guy. He just defends too well. Being on the exact same tire as me, I didn't have a great enough pace advantage to make a decent move anywhere really on the circuit, but we'll see how we go in trying to overtake this guy. We do have the slipstream and DRS, but that is the only thing we got, as we have dirty air as well, and we're going to duck into the slipstream, heading down on the back straight of lap 18. Not getting quite close enough, but we're going to make the move. No, we're not. He locks up going into the hairpin, but still manages to make the corner, and he doesn't lose much ground to us, heading onto that final corner, which is easy to corner cut and run wide, so you've got to be quite careful if you're pushing hard through this circuit. Heading on to lap 19 now, still behind Denny Rick, still damaging our tyres in the dirty air. I'm trying to get past him as soon as possible, taking a tighter line to avoid that dirty air negative effect on our aerodynamics, but still I'm just trying my best to stay out of it and get as close as I can. These 2017 cars have definitely provided a challenge for overtaking, especially the circuit. There's a bit of lag there. I had to swerve to the outside there just to make sure I didn't make contact with Denny Rick, as he lagged a little bit there, but now we're getting really close to the back of him and a bit aware now that he's lagging, so I was a bit, you know, a bit cautious staying so close to, like, I was a bit worried being so close behind him, but not much I could do. I gotta try and make the move if I've got any chance of catching the cars ahead, which I definitely have the pace to do. It's just been held up by Denny Rick, which is really getting frustrating, and running out of time to catch the cars ahead as well. I tried to make the move up the inside of turn 1, but turns to the outside and not much was going for me there, and Denny Rick manages to hold the position, but we're nice and close to him now. I was going to try and make the move up the inside here, but Denny Rick defends, so we're forced to the outside, and he keeps that position once again. All over the back of him again though, and we're going to try and make the move up the inside of this left-hander, which is not a conventional way to overtake someone, and he has the inside line for the right-hander following that corner, and he manages to hold the position once again. We're still pretty close to the back of him, so I'll be looking to try and make a move as soon as possible. Once again, it's really getting infuriating being stuck behind him. He brakes pretty early for me, and that forces me to the inside line, locking up my tires as I had to turn while braking, and he manages to get the crisscross on us and gets back in front. Once again, I've cut the corner there, just a mistake. When you have a car in front of you, it's a lot easier to make mistakes as you get easily distracted, but once again, trying to get into the slipstream of Denny Rick, holding a tighter line than him through the latter part of turn 1, and still just not close enough to make that maneuver. Being this close though through the first 2 corners, I'll be looking to make a move into the right-hander hairpin, but looks like he's just a bit too far away, and the slipstream is definitely not working as effective as 2016, the previous game in this series, but now we got to switch back on him, and hopefully we can make the move around the outside of him, and we do, but we've ran wide to leave space, and now he's got our inside line, and now he's going to try and hold it around the outside of us and going into turn 1, and he manages to do so. I think he got in a bit deep there, so we're going to hold the inside line once again, but I just don't think we're close enough to get side by side. We made a little bit of contact with him, but that's okay, and we're going to try and make the inside line work, getting out of the dirty air. He's lost the back end a bit there, and we've managed to get side by side, and we overtake him going into that right-hander, but he squeezes his way back past, as I didn't think I needed to defend that hard, but he managed to force his way past again, and that's really, really frustrating. I was really fuming in the cockpit of this car when I was overtaken once again by Denny Rick, and now I have to overtake him once again as I've lost all sense of touch with the cars ahead now, because being held up by Denny Rick for how many laps now? and I've just overcooked it there, and now he's gonna get past quite easily, but we're still right on the back of him. We'll get DRS and the slipstream once again, going into long right hander onto the back straight. My tyres were actually pretty good until I had to start battling with this guy. Putting it up into rich fuel mix now, getting really close to the back of Danny Rick. We're going to go around the outside and try to hold the hairpin and maybe do the switch back, I'm not sure, but braking as late as we can, holding it around the outside actually this time, but still we get forced off the track and we get a warning for leaving enough room for Danny Rick, so that's a bit frustrating. If I really wanted to, I could get that warning taken away from us, which could allow us to get a penalty taken away from us as well, but making a bit of contact with Danny Rick once again, going through the second turn of lap 23 as he's going to hold the inside line, which is the smartest move, because when I didn't hold my line through there, he made the move back past me, which was, yeah, definitely frustrating, as final chicane has now caught up to the back of us on the super soft tyres, and he's going to be a lot quicker than both of us, which is going to be really annoying, as I should have been ahead of Danny Rick ages ago, but he managed to get back past us, which is really annoying, and now we're all over the back of him. We're definitely going to make the move up the inside, but he covered it, and yeah, not much we can do about that. I shouldn't have showed my cards a bit earlier by throwing it down the inside, but now he knows that's an overtaking move and he managed to defend that. But now we got the inside line going into the back straight. Hopefully we can hold this position finally, but he's still side by side with us, but I think that DRS should manage to give us a bit of an edge heading down into the right hander hairpin as final chicane pushes us wide, and that allows Danny Rick to go up the inside of both of us, and now we're going 3 abreast. I back out of this because it's just going to end into tragedy, as the 2 Red Bulls got really close, but now we have a better exit than both of us, as final chicane is lagging a little bit and Danny Rick has stopped lagging a little bit as well, and now we've just been hit off the track by Danny Rick. It was kind of a weird situation. I kind of like ran into his front left tire, but you know, not much you can do. I'm not gonna report him for that because it was kind of a weird collision, but anyways, we're down into 13 now after that, and it really sucks after being held up for that much. And now, if you didn't see on that side of the road, there was Danny Rick, and I think final chicane might have made contact with Danny Rick there, as he managed to move ahead while Danny Rick was on the side of the road. But now we're going to have a lot of pressure coming from Flowriser with another 5 laps to go, as he's already caught up to the back of us on lap 26 on the faster tyre, and we're going to try and hold on to it, but not much we can do, I believe, on the slower tyre, as he manages to hold it around the outside and I don't make contact with him. Not something that the guys I was battling with could do, as they kept on shoving me off the track, but you know, what can I do? Flowriser manages to hold it around the outside, going down into lap 2017, turn 1, and he's going to have the inside line for this corner, but I leave the space and he manages to make the move stick, and that's probably the last we'll be seeing of Flowriser. I will try and stick with him, but there's definitely not much of a chance I can stay with him, as he is on 2 compound softer tyre, and onto lap 27 we're going to have only 2 laps to go, and I think that's going to be a finishing position, if I'm honest, as I don't see us going any further up the ladder on this race, as James H comes across the line to finish the race in first position. We come across in 13th place out of 18 drivers, and yeah, pretty abysmal effort by me, but there we go. We got James H, Maznat and Pineda rounding up the top 3 on the podium. Congratulations to those guys, good race from them. Unfortunately I couldn't be in the top 5 battling with those guys, but you know, not much you can do when you have a lag start, and it's just unfortunate that I got held up by a few other drivers, but that's what I signed up for. I wanted some good racing, and that was some good battling with Danny Rick and Flowriser and the rest. So can't wait for the next race. Here is the race standings, as James H would consolidate his first place in the championship, Maznat would consolidate his second place, and maybe Wimpineda would be up there in the top 5, I'm not sure, but those are the race standings. Us down in 13th, not a good position. Dynamite has managed to squeeze up into the top 10, the guy that we let go because we thought he was on a strategy where he would stop again, but nonetheless, those are the standings. Stylen managed to finish 8th position, and another solid drive from Entei and V-Fingers. Wordchild, a new contender up there. Haven't seen him up here before, but he definitely looks like he has some speed. So congratulations to those guys. I'll see you all in the next video. Can't wait. Subscribe if you're new. If you feel the video deserves it, leave a like. And most of all, thanks for watching.